using the abilities and resources of small-scale businessmen in order to empower communities and eventually whole provinces is a concept that is gaining more and more attention, especially now at this time of economic difficulty around the world. We'll have more on that for you later. First, we look at another important contributing factor to Sri Lanka's economy, one of the hardest hit during the war, namely tourism. Having faced constant fluctuations in profits for almost 30 years, it is now gearing up to take advantage of the boom that is expected in the near future. Take a look. Nilam Deen has depended on the tourism industry since 1974. Back then, he started off as an interpreter for French travelers. Today, he is involved in tour operations and also owns a gem and jewelry shop in Mount Lavinia. The last phase of the war, along with travel advisories against travel to Sri Lanka, has resulted in a drastic drop in numbers of tourists, and businessmen like Nilam Deen, who depend on tourism, have faced financially crippling losses.
Very bad, because we were planning and buying and producing and we couldn't sell them. So we had to keep it, especially when the airport was attacked. That was the biggest disaster. Because especially clients who came here, they are getting a transfer to Maldives, where from that onwards we lost almost the English market. Because every time there was a flop. Earlier we had German tourists who came in. Before Germans, in 1964-65 we had Swiss, Scandinavian countries who travelled here. They have their own flights coming landing. Then it changed. Even after the Suez Canal was closed, we had passenger lines coming into Colombo. So we lost all that, but still it was remaining. But that we lost when this airport was attacked.
The livelihood of over 900,000 people like Nilam Deen, who depend directly and indirectly on the tourist industry, have seen better days. Despite being known as a country that has some of the best tourist destinations and star-class accommodation, revenue from tourism in 2008 only earned $32 million. This is comparatively lower than that earned by countries like Thailand, Indonesia and the Philippines. Tourist arrivals are expected to improve with the war coming to a close.
We won't be able to come into big upmarketing immediate, because we have been sold very cheap for some time to keep going. So we have a chance at the moment with the crisis in the world. There won't be much tourists going to Maldives or other destinations, because the prices are up, say above $300 a night. Or some Japanese paid even $1,000, $2,000 a night. So we are in a $100 range. So we have a potential, but it won't be a big change immediate, but there should be recoveries.
Today, Nilam Deen and others like him are optimistic about an increase in the arrival of tourists in the near future. On the 23rd of June 2009, the Tourism Board and Ministry of Tourism officially launched a promotional campaign under the new tagline, Sri Lanka, Small Miracle. This rebranding effort is expected to usher in a new beginning for tourism, given the timing and expectations of a new era of peace for Sri Lanka.
Citizens of Sri Lanka. The tourism brand launch has come at the right time. Sri Lanka truly is a small miracle, and in the current context, it is totally appropriate to brand it that way. This has come for us to time has come for us to join hands together with the private sector, with all its stakeholders in tourism, and with every citizen in this country to transform the brand promise into a reality, to ensure enormous economic dividends it can generate to our people and to the economy as a whole.
The relaunch and campaign are expected to contribute towards increased tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka of as many as 2.5 million by 2016.
The last 2 to 4 years, part of which I was a minister 2.5 years, has been a foundation building period. The foundation took a long time to build. And the foundation has finally, I believe, now entailed in a solid private-public partnership. because it is ultimately the private sector that actually runs the tourism industry. We as government do not run travel agencies, we do not run hotels. We basically provide the policies, the guidance and the leadership and maybe become a catalyst. But the ultimate responsibility of creating jobs rests here with the private sector.
Addressing invitees at the launch at the BMICH via a recorded message, President Mahinda Rajapaksa reiterated his government's commitment to providing the resources needed to meet the targets envisaged by the industry.
No sooner our motherland was united under our national flag, I invited all who had left the country because of terrorism to return home. Today, I invite visitors from abroad to come to our wonderful country, enjoy its charm and the hospitality of our people. We are Sri Lanka, if we'll fly, we'll bring Sri Lanka onto our lives, and we will try.
The tourism industry has felt the impact of conflict in the country for the past 2 decades. The increased military offensives of the past 3 years only made the situation worse, as the country gained the reputation of being a dangerous destination. This is reflected in the arrival figures for May 2009, which showed a 19.8% drop since the same period last year. But now, with the end of the war and the promise of development and prosperity in the future, Sri Lanka is gearing up to become a vibrant tourist destination once again.
There's a lot of catching up to do, as I said. Firstly, staff. We have lost a lot of staff abroad, but partly because of this world economic crisis, people are coming back. Secondly, people didn't think very much highly of the industry. So young people never thought of tourism as a career for themselves, because obviously the career paths were. Now things are changing, so in the short term there will be people coming in. So we have to quickly get in proper trained staff. As I told you, product-wise, we are reasonably okay, but we need to refurbish, and we are already asking the government. We have started lobbying the government for some sort of incentive, like duty-free imports, to start bringing up the plant. So there is some work to be done in the short term, but certainly room-wise, we got 14,700 rooms right now.
Together with revamping infrastructure and services in the south and central districts of the country, former tourist destinations in the war-affected east are now also being promoted by the industry, but rebuilding these areas will require resources.
North and east, especially the east, as you know, was a very well-known sub-destination in Sri Lanka. It was actually, if you remember those days, it was a seasonal tourism traffic. You know, during the southeast monsoon, people go across there. So eventually it will come to that. But certainly the plant is hardly evident there. Everything is shattered. There are, I think, only 2 hotels. So what the tourism authority is trying to do is to prevent haphazard development, because this is what we are guarding against. We don't want it to go down like a haphazard Hikkaduwa again. We got a good chance to reorganize that area.
Sri Lanka has lost out on its positioning in the competitive Asian region for the last 2 decades. But even with an ongoing war in the country, the tourism sector accounted for up to $400 million in foreign exchange earnings, the 4th largest income earner for Sri Lanka. Now, given the right conditions, it could surpass the $1 billion mark. With the industry ready to kickstart tourism in the country, those like Nilam Deen, who survived the worst of it in the past, will hopefully have something much better to look forward to.
I have a good feeling, because our people are hospitable. We have a lot of things to offer them, especially ecotourism, our nature, our botany, our plants, our safaris. There are a lot of things to offer. So there are people of different world, they want to come. Only thing, it was a fractured island for some time. So they get the idea that now we can travel. is very positive.